professor at the U.S. Naval War College. He argues that the president could be planning a final grand distraction before he's forced to relinquish his office. And Tom joins me now. Great to see you.
Good to be with you.
So, Tom, we are in the final stretch here of the Trump presidency. Are you saying that you envision President Trump taking some sort of action on what's going on here, on these renewed tensions before he leaves office?
I hope not. I should also add that I speak for the War College or the U.S. government. But I am concerned that the president really relishes his role as commander-in-chief. We know that right after the election, he was looking at options for striking Iranian nuclear sites. Apparently, he was dissuaded from that by his aides. And I think, it's a legitimate concern. Of course, the Iranians are almost certainly up to no good. And I think one of the things that most concerns me is this is the time when the president and the incoming president-elect should be communicating with each other and sharing information and consulting with each other. And of course, President Trump isn't doing any of that. So I'm genuinely concerned that the president could be thinking about saddling President-elect Biden with some kind of military operation on his way out the door.
Well, Iran has certainly sent clear signals that it wants U.S. sanctions lifted. It's something that an attack could jeopardize. So maybe Iran would wait to take any potential action to see what the Biden administration does about these sanctions. So wait for the new administration to take over. Or do you see Trump just stepping in and doing something anyway?
Well, I'm not an expert on the internal mechanics of the Iranian regime. Of course, we're coming up to the one-year anniversary of the killing of Qasem Soleimani, which the Iranians are still pretty raw about and have vowed revenge for. So it's possible that the Iranians could be planning something. On the other hand, I think it's been clear over 4 years that Donald Trump isn't much of a deep thinker about these issues, and that what he does, whether it's in the foreign policy sphere or in the domestic policy arena, is always oriented around what he thinks is best for Donald Trump. And when it comes to questions of war and peace, of course, this is the one place where a president just can't afford to think that way. It's one of many places that a president shouldn't think that way, but this is a particularly dangerous place. And so because there is no transparency and because we simply have no way of knowing what the president is up to, I think that should raise some concerns because of the lack, once again, of transparency and of communication with the transition team and with the incoming Biden administration.
And you mentioned that Iran could be up to no good at this point. Is there something we should be watching for? Are there certain signals, from Iran or the Pentagon that could come next?
Well, Iran is always up to no good. That's the kind of regime it is. I think one of the things to watch for on our end are sudden bursts of activity at the White House, at the National Security Council, at the Pentagon, which would indicate that people in our national defense establishment have spotted something that concerns them. The problem here is that Iran is a real problem. I mean, the president may well have to do something, but to do this without consultation with the incoming administration, without coordinating between transition teams, without coming to the American people and to the Congress to explain the exact nature of the danger, I think the problem here is that Donald Trump, given the way he's governed for 4 years, simply has not earned the benefit of the doubt on these kinds of actions. And so I think, if the country is going to have to face this kind of a threat, they need to face it in a more united way.